So when I was in college, I visited a friend who went to a very big school, and I was having fun at the time, and maybe a little bit too much fun since I drank too much. And the next morning, with my head pounding and stomach aching, I walked into his living room to find a guy in the front yard walking around with a blanket on, since apparently that's where he had slept. And I looked down the street to see if there was anything just as crazy going on in the neighborhood, and I saw down the block a group of middle-aged adults walking up and down the street, cleaning the front yards of this college campus littered with beer cans everywhere. I thought to myself, I should be out there and not in here. To have these people bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to take on the day and make things better, while I was half awake and halfway functional with the thought of throwing up if I moved too fast, was embarrassing. I had disabled myself from contributing to my best ability, and it was an embarrassment. These people were making things better, and they didn't have to go far to do it. They didn't have to go to the state capitol to pick it outside of some brick building to make change happen. They didn't have to write a Facebook post about how the city should do something about these kids trashing the community. And they certainly didn't have to sit down with me to tell me that I shouldn't be trashing myself. So the opportunity to make things better was right in front of me, both literally and metaphorically. And then fast forward 3 years later, I had an experience that brought me a similar lesson. I had a vision, and we could just, for lack of a better term, call it a dream, that I was with a group of friends in a cabin and I was watching them destroy it. And they were throwing water all over the place, slamming furniture into walls, and banging appliances onto the ground, shattering electronics, and even cracking the floor. And although I wasn't breaking anything, I felt just as guilty as they were for the damages. And I didn't feel angry or scared of them. I just felt like they couldn't recognize the extent of the damages that they were causing. And I knew that I needed to clean up, but the amount of destruction just felt so overwhelming. So I went to a part of the cabin my friends already destroyed, and I picked up a smashed water bottle, and then I picked up a shoe, and then I sat up a chair on its legs. And I was just thinking, how am I going to put all this back together again? And as I was moving to one piece to the next, I thought to myself, piece by piece. That's the only way you can fix things, is piece by piece and step by step. And I had this sense of calm fall over me, even though my friends were still behind me, yelling and screaming and throwing things all over the place. And it was like, in the middle of the chaos, I understood that the only thing that I could do to make everything better was to make sure that everything I touched was a little bit better, step by step and piece by piece. And then so jump to a couple of months ago where I was having a conversation with my grandpa. And before his 30-year career as a pastor, he owned a cleaning business. And we talked about how the cleaning was the easiest way to provide value in the quickest way possible. And he told me that he was obsessive compulsive when he'd clean. He said that when he was cleaning windows, he'd wipe it down until every inch of light would be able to shine through. And I told him, it was like, you helped people clean their windows, and then you helped people clean their lives. And that was the last conversation I ever had with him, because he passed away about 6 weeks later. But even with him gone, with each item that gets picked up or put away and cleaned off gives me a chance to honor him and his legacy. It's like light is a metaphor for knowledge. Light reveals and darkness conceals. Light enables us to see because we can see and we can move forward. And darkness, on the other hand, makes moving forward more dangerous because you can't see the things that are going to trip you up. And tripping over things happens when there's too much clutter. And that clutter, whether in your psychological or physical environment, makes it much more challenging to navigate the chaos that life inevitably throws at us. And you can start the day off on the right foot by making your bed. That's a tip that I got from Tim Ferriss, who said that if everything goes wrong that day, at least you can say that you did something right. And then there's your kitchen. The sink always provides an opportunity to straighten things out. There's a saying that goes, everyone wants to change the world, but nobody wants to help mom clean the dishes. And of course, when you're walking to your car and you see that candy bar wrapper laying in your neighbor's front lawn, you can decide to take the extra step to help out and make things cleaner for both you and for those around you. And instead of worrying about what's happening in the market or what's going on in DC or what happened in a lab somewhere in China, we all have the decision step by step and piece by piece if we're going to straighten up our rooms, organize our house, and clean off the windows to allow more light and clarity to shine through. Thank you for listening. Stay well, stay healthy, and until next week, have a good one.